All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a huge topic today. What even is psychology? It's a word you hear all the time, right? But what does it really mean? Stick with me, because once you get the basics, it can totally change how you see yourself and, well, everyone around you. Let's do this.
So, first thing, when I say the word psychology, what's the first picture that pops into your head? Just what's the immediate image? For a lot of us, it's probably going to be something kind of like this.
Yep, the therapist couch. Maybe a person with a notepad asking you about your childhood. And look, that's definitely a part of psychology, for sure. But it's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
The truth is, psychology is this huge, fascinating field that touches basically every part of our lives, a lot of times in ways we don't even notice.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with what it is exactly, then we'll look at how it's a real science, we'll explore the different lenses psychologists use to see things, check out the many different jobs in the field, and then bring it all back to how it impacts your life. So first up, let's get a really solid definition down, something we can build everything else on.
Okay, so at its heart, psychology is the scientific study of our mental processes and our behavior. But what I think is really cool are its roots. It comes from the Greek words psyche, which means spirit or soul, and logia, which means the study of. So it's literally the study of the soul. Kind of beautiful, right? And this quote from Hermann Ebbinghaus just nails it. Psychology has a short past, but a long history. What he means is that the science of psychology is pretty new, only about 150 years old. But the questions it asks, why do we think the way we do? Why do we feel what we feel? Those questions are as old as we are.
And this field didn't just appear out of nowhere. It grew out of big-time subjects like biology and philosophy. And today, its branches reach into everything. Sociology, medicine, linguistics. It's become this global field that you'll find being used everywhere, from a hospital to a corporate boardroom.
Okay, so how do they actually do it? How do psychologists go about studying something as messy and complicated as the human mind? Well, that brings us to the science of it all.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand. Psychology isn't just about someone's opinion or a good idea. It's a science. It relies on empirical methods, that means hard evidence, data, and careful experiments to test questions and find real answers.
And they have a whole toolkit to get that evidence. They might just observe people in their natural environment or run super-controlled experiments in a lab. Sometimes they'll do a deep, deep dive on just one person in a case study, or they'll use surveys to get info from thousands of people at once. Every tool helps them get a clearer picture.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Even though it's a science, there's not just one single way to look at a problem. You can think of it like having a bunch of different lenses, and each one gives you a unique view of the same subject, us.
Let's make this really concrete. Let's take a tough issue like bullying. How would a psychologist even begin to understand it? Well, it completely depends on which lens they're looking through. So, someone looking through a biological lens might investigate genetics or brain chemistry to see if they play a role in aggression. But a psychologist using a behavioral lens, they'd ask completely different questions, like, how is this behavior being learned? Is the bully getting some kind of reward or reinforcement from their environment? And here's the main point. No single lens is the right one. The real power of psychology comes from combining them. When you can see the biology and the learned behaviors and the social factors all at once, that's when you can start building real, complete solutions that actually work.
So as you can imagine, all these different ways of looking at things have led to a whole bunch of different specializations within psychology. Let's pull up a quick map of the profession.
I mean, just look at how diverse this is. You've got clinical psychology, that's the therapy we all think of, but there's also forensic psychology, applying these ideas to the legal system, or something called IO psychology, which is all about improving our workplaces. From studying how we develop over our entire lives to how we behave in groups, there's a niche for almost everything. Okay, so that's a lot of theory and a lot of different fields, but so what? What does any of this have to do with you? Let's bring it all home and see how psychology is working in your world right now. Because this isn't some academic subject that stays in a textbook. Psychological principles are active all around you, all the time. They're shaping your choices, your thoughts, and your experiences every single day. Seriously, just think about it for a second. It's in the TV commercials that are built to persuade you. It's in the way a website is designed to keep you clicking. It's in the mental game that athletes use to perform at their best. And it's in the simple strategies you might use to break a bad habit. It is literally everywhere. So with all these different perspectives and all these different fields, you might be wondering, what holds it all together?
Well, it turns out the entire world of psychology is really driven by one single overriding goal. And that goal is this: to describe behavior, to explain it, to predict it, and then to use all of that knowledge for one simple, powerful reason: to help people live better lives. That's it. That's the mission.
So there you go. You now have the foundational building blocks of psychology. The only question left is, now that you know a little more about how it works, what part of your own mind are you going to explore first?